A nightclub doesn't sell you a drink. It sells you a feeling that for one night, you are somebody, because a bottle of vodka that costs the club $40 will sell 10 feet away for 500. And people don't just pay it. They book it weeks in advance, they fight for the table, and they tip the waitress who carries it out under sparklers like it's a trophy. A nightclub is not in the alcohol business. It is in the status business. And that single fact explains everything about how it makes money and why almost nobody who owns one gets to keep it. This is the economics of owning a nightclub. Here's the first thing to understand. What a nightclub actually sells is not liquor. It's scarcity. A velvet rope, a guest list, a table you can't get, a room everyone wants to be in tonight and no one will care about in 2 years. The alcohol is just the receipt. And the way you pay for that feeling is the single most profitable trick in hospitality: bottle service. Here is how it works. Instead of buying drinks one at a time at the bar, a group pays for a whole bottle of spirits delivered straight to their private table, with mixers, with a dedicated server, and with a parade of sparklers so the entire room turns to look. The markup is staggering. A bottle that costs the club $30 or $40 wholesale is sold for $300, $500, sometimes several thousand for champagne. That is a markup of well over 500% on a single bottle, and the tables that buy them are where the real money lives. In most clubs, the VIP section takes up maybe a fifth to a quarter of the floor, but it can bring in 30 to 50% of the entire club's revenue. While an average guest at the bar might spend $40 or $50 all night, a single VIP table can drop 500, 5,000, or on a big night, tens of thousands. And here is the genius of it. The sparkler parade isn't really for the people buying the bottle. It's for everyone else. Every time a big table orders, the lights swing over, the music swells, and the whole room turns to watch someone else be important. The club has turned spending money into a performance and made every other guest quietly want their turn on that stage. You are not paying $500 for vodka. You are paying to be seen paying $500 for vodka. And let's actually do that math because it's dizzying. Picture one VIP table with a $2,000 minimum spend. To clear it, the group orders 4 bottles that cost the club maybe $150 in total. On that single table, the club just booked nearly $2,000 of revenue against a couple hundred in cost. Now fill 20 of those tables on a Saturday, add a packed bar around them, and a hot club can pull in $100,000 or more between midnight and close. On paper, it is the best business in the city. Sound familiar? It's the same shape as a casino. A small number of whales, big spenders chasing status and a good table, carry the entire room. The club isn't really built for the crowd waiting in line. It's built for the 8 people in the corner booth ordering their 3rd bottle of Dom. So on the surface, this looks like one of the greatest businesses on earth. The product is water, sugar, and alcohol. The markup is 500%. Drinks carry a gross margin of 70 to 80%, and beverages make up 60 to 70% of everything the club takes in. A packed club on a Saturday night is, quite literally, a money fountain. And yet, and this is the twist, the average nightclub keeps a net profit margin of only 10 to 15%. Some barely break even. Most don't survive at all. So where does all that beautiful bottle money go? It gets eaten alive. Start with the building. A nightclub needs a big, dramatic, expensive space in exactly the kind of neighborhood where rent is brutal. Then you fit it out. The sound system, the lighting rig, the LED walls, the booths. And opening a serious club runs anywhere from $250,000 to well over $2 million before a single guest walks in. The mega clubs in Las Vegas cost tens of millions. Then comes the single most ruthless line item in the whole business: the talent. Because in the modern nightclub, people don't come for the room. They come for the DJ, and the top DJs know exactly how much they're worth. A headliner residency in Las Vegas can pay a DJ $100,000, $300,000, even $400,000 for one night. At his peak, Calvin Harris was reportedly pulling in around $1 million a show in Vegas on a residency deal worth a reported $200 million. Deadmau5 was said to have earned over $400,000 for a single night. Read that again. A club can pay one performer more for a single evening then the whole business will clear in profit that entire month. The DJ walks away with a fortune, whether the club has a good night or a disaster. The booth is the safest seat in the building, and it isn't the owner's. And the DJ is just the start. You are also paying an army, security and bouncers, bartenders and barbacks, cocktail servers, a liquor license that can cost a fortune and takes months to get, insurance for a business where things go wrong at 2 in the morning, and then the promoters. Promoters are the people who actually fill the room. They own the guest lists, the group chats, the relationships with the big spenders, and they take their cut off the top, a slice of the door, a commission on every table they bring in. A club without promoters is an empty club, so the owner pays them night after night for the privilege of a crowd. The person who fills your club doesn't work for you. They rent you their friends, so stack it all up. Astronomical rent, $1 million build-out, a DJ who costs more than you'll ever make, promoters skimming every table, staff, security, licenses, insurance. Suddenly, that 500% bottle doesn't look so magical. The margin was never the problem. The overhead is the monster. And here is the part that turns a hard business into a brutal one. A nightclub is not really a business. It's a fashion item. Think about how a club actually lives. It opens. It's the hottest room in the city. The line stretches around the block. Every table is booked. And then, slowly, inevitably, it gets old. A newer, cooler club opens down the street. The crowd chasing the next new thing simply moves. There is no loyalty in nightlife. The same fickle magic that made you hot makes you cold. Every city has the graveyard to prove it. The legendary rooms that once had celebrities at the door and velvet ropes 3 deep, now sitting dark, or quietly reopened under a new name, chasing the same lightning twice. The building survives. The magic almost never does. Most clubs are only truly hot for 2, maybe 3 years. That's the window. And the numbers are savage. Somewhere between 60 and 80% of nightclubs fail, most of them within the first 1 to 3 years. The number one killer isn't a bad product. It's cash flow, the crushing weight of that overhead on a night when the crowd doesn't show. You are not buying a business with a long, boring future of steady profits. You are renting the city's attention for a couple of seasons and praying you make your money back before the spotlight moves on. And even when it all works, the money is precarious. A well-run club might clear $20,000 to $100,000 in a strong month. Real money, but it rides almost entirely on a handful of big spenders and a few packed nights. Lose your whales to the newer club across the street, catch a couple of dead weekends, draw the wrong crowd or a noise complaint that threatens your license, and the whole delicate machine tips from profit into panic in a matter of weeks. In a business built on being cool, there is almost no margin for a bad month. So in this glittering, deafening, 500% markup machine, who actually walks away rich? Not usually the owner. The owner put up the millions, signed the lease, took on the debt, and carries every risk on every quiet Tuesday. The DJ wins. He's paid a fortune up front, guaranteed, and flies to the next city the moment the set ends. The promoter wins. He gets his cut of every table and simply moves his guest list to whichever club is hot next. The landlord wins, collecting rent on a prime building no matter who's throwing the party inside it. And the liquor companies win, selling the bottles that get marked up into the stratosphere. Everyone in the building is getting rich off the room, except very often the person who owns the room. So, should you own a nightclub? The economics of a single bottle are intoxicating. Pour something that costs $40, sell it for $500, do it 1,000 times a night. But zoom out, and it's one of the most fragile businesses in the world. A fashion brand with a 2-year shelf life, a cost structure that eats its own profit, and a 4 in 5 chance of failure, where the DJ, the promoter, and the landlord all get paid before you see a cent. Worth owning? Call it a 3 out of 10. It can absolutely mint money in its golden window. But that window is short, the risk is enormous, and the safest people in the building are the ones you're writing checks to. A nightclub sells everyone else a night they'll never forget, and it very often hands the owner a debt they'll always remember. I'm Mogul Math. Pick a business. We'll do the math.